It is Monday, the 28th of October, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Ooh, it's Halloween week. Welcome to Pigeon's Song of the Day, where I am talking about spooky songs because Halloween is on Thursday. And we're starting off today with the song Goosebumps by Lemon Demon. Now, I've talked about Lemon Demon on the show before. I've talked about how much I love Lemon Demon. Neil Cicierega's work is great, and if you've been on the internet, you've heard him. You might have even heard this song. As the name implies, it is related to children's horror book series by R.L. Stine, Goosebumps, and we'll talk about that more after we listen to it, but that is relevant to the topic, and as such, the music video is a big part of this. I mean, it was originally released through the music video on YouTube. So I encourage you, if you can, to watch the video because I will be talking about it, of course. And it also helps you understand the song to an extent. I don't know that we need to give it too much of a preface other than to just get into it because everything about it is just kind of contained within the song. So let's just go ahead and listen to it and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And there it is, Goosebumps by Lemon Demon. Now, you may have noticed, especially if you watch the video, that the lyrics are almost entirely made up of Goosebumps book titles. And I think that's very clever, because it's not just him saying them, and that's the whole song. I'm trying to think of an example of that. There's definitely some song I know that does that. It's just a list of references with no meaningful connection. But this song actually strings them together into sort of a spooky love song, and I really like the way it's done. I also want to note, this was uploaded to the Neil Cicierega YouTube channel in 2011. In 2015, R.L. Stine tweeted the link to the video with, "Have you seen this video song? It's called You Give Me Goosebumps," which is not what it's called, but R.L. Stine has apparently heard it and watched it, so that's cool. Anyway, yeah, it was released in 2011 on YouTube. It was retroactively added to the Nature Tapes EP, which is kind of a collection of a bunch of his miscellaneous music that isn't on albums like Really Cool Wig and Two Trucks and Brody Quest, which have kind of become famous in their own way on the internet. So it's not one of those ones that I think about very often, but whenever the book series of Goosebumps comes up, I always think of it, you know? Because I read Goosebumps as a kid, not too many of them. Like, we own loads of them in my childhood home. There's a whole shelf. Well, there's like a shelf that's half Goosebumps and half Horrible Histories. And I had Give Yourself Goosebumps as well, which was the Choose Your Own Adventure version. Reader beware, you choose the scare. But I kind of realized right away what the song was doing because I knew some of the titles, you know? So, let's go through it, shall we? To the girl who cried monster, it's me, the ghost next door. I think I'm in deep trouble, you're the one I'm dying for. Every night in Terror Tower, I meet you in a dream. I say that you can't scare me, but in my heart I scream. You give me goosebumps. Goosebumps, honey beware, you're in for a scare, oh no. So, The Girl Who Cried Monster is a Goosebumps book. The Ghost Next Door was a Goosebumps book. Deep Trouble is a Goosebumps book. A Night in Terror Tower is a Goosebumps book. And You Can't Scare Me is a Goosebumps book. I think of all those, I think we had Deep Trouble, but I've only actually read You Can't Scare Me. But yeah, I love the way it just weaves the titles into it, you know. To the Girl Who Cried Monster, it's me, the Ghost Next Door. I think I'm in deep trouble. You're the one I'm dying for. Every night in Terror Tower. Like, he's working them in, but he's telling this narrative of, like, it's a love song, but using this horror imagery as the way to present it. And then You Give Me Goosebumps. So, Goosebumps was the name of the series because it's supposed to represent, like, the way you shiver when you're scared, and it gives you goosebumps, right? And like I said, Give Yourself Goosebumps was the title of the Choose Your Own Adventure series. And then Honey Beware, You're In for a Scare is a reference to the tagline for the series, Reader Beware, You're In for a Scare, which, as I mentioned for the Choose Your Own Adventure, was Reader Beware, You Choose the Scare. So it's kind of a funny play on that with Honey Beware, You're In for a Scare. Then the second verse is, Beneath the haunted mask I wear, my eyes light up for you. I feel you in my monster blood, am I in your monster blood too? The scarecrow walks at midnight, but I walk all alone. Up and down the ghost beach where I found your bones. You give me goosebumps, 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 repeating, and then Honey Beware, You're In for a Scare, oh no. So, The Haunted Mask is the name of a Goosebumps book, a very famous one. I think I read that. I believe it's like the first episode of the TV show or something. It's a very famous episode anyway. And then My Eyes Light Up for You is referencing the glowing eyes of the mask in the book. And then my favorite line in the whole thing, it's an all-timer Lemon Demon line. I feel you in my monster blood. Am I in your monster blood too? And he's saying it like T-O-O, like, am I also in your monster blood? And it's just this kind of like, do you feel the same way about me sort of phrase. But it's referencing the book Monster Blood Blood and its sequel, Monster Blood 2 TWO. And I think that's really funny and very sweet as well. I really like that turn of phrase there. Am I in your Monster Blood 2? It's great. Like 90% of why I love this song is for that line. And then The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, that's one I did read. I actually have a comic anthology that's like 3 Goosebumps stories drawn by different artists. It's The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, and then one that I can never remember the name of, but it's about like the Abominable Snowman. And The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight is a very creepy one about scarecrows that come to life, especially with the way it's drawn in that comic. And so that's one that stands out to me here as well. But I Walk All Alone, Up and Down the Ghost Beach. So Ghost Beach is another Goosebumps book. I only really know about that one because I think JonTron talked about it in his Goosebumps video. Imagine your frame of reference being JonTron. Hey. And then it's Where I Found Your Bones. So then it turns this whole song into like, it's someone pining after someone who's dead, I guess, who has passed and they're a ghost, right? And so it becomes, throughout it feels like it could be just a horror metaphor, but now it feels like it's literal. And then it goes into the You Give Me Goosebumps, and I love that. Goosebumps. Yeah, just a very silly but also sweet song. And then the way it ends with the oh no, dong 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 dong. Love that. The video version actually has this kind of extended outro that I also enjoy. I don't think that's on the Nature Tapes version or the version that was released on his website. But yeah, just a very cute, creative song. The video, if you didn't watch it, is just him in front of like a green screen, presumably. And the books are just like behind him, and he's holding up, whenever he says a lyric that contains the title of a book, he holds up that book, which is very funny for the Monster Blood one because then he drops it and Monster Blood 2 is behind it. Just a very fitting video to do. Between the verses, there's like a little sequence of the books all appearing in a row with a little sound that I very much enjoy. It tickles my brain nice. That's pretty much all I have to say about this one. It's a pretty simple song, but it's very clever and I really enjoy it. And that's how we're starting off Halloween week. Tomorrow we'll be continuing with another spooky song, but also it's quite funny. I'm kind of front loading the silly ones and then getting into the more actually spooky ones later. Anyway, until then, thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow. It is Monday the 28th. I'll leave that till later. Kind of become famous in their own way. On the internet. All over the internet. This is what happens when I rewatch Space Tree. It's an all-timer Lemon Demon long. I feel long.